Support for your public radio station comes from our members and from Mary Cariola Center, providing education and life skills solutions designed to empower individuals and the families of those with complex disabilities. Mary Cariola Center, transforming lives of people with disabilities. More at marycariola.org.
From WXXI News, this is Connections. I'm Evan Dawson. Our connection this hour was made on a track filled with skaters, inside a Cessna 182, and on the Brooklyn Bridge, made out of toothpicks. Roller derby, skydiving, toothpicks. Yes, Toothpicks, the June issue of City Magazine, is all about the activities, events, and experiences that could give us a thrill. Adrenaline is the theme. This hour, we're talking with the city team and local thrill seekers about their adventures and what gets the adrenaline pumping for people in our region. Have you ever bungee jumped? I have an uncle who went bungee jumping, and it turned the whites of his eyes red because capillaries popped. And he said he loved it. Hey, what works for somebody else might not work for you. Would you go skydiving? Is that something that's on your list? Is that what you want to do? What if you've never learned to ride a bike, like Patrick Hosken, our colleague who we had a chance to talk to for this issue? Oh, there's a lot to tap into here. The editor of City Magazine, Leah Stacy, back in studio. Hey, welcome. Hi. Are you a skydiver? No?
No.
Not yet.
Terrified of heights. When I was editing that story, when you get like tingly, when you're like, if you're afraid of heights, you get like tingly and you like feel a little nauseous. That's how I felt when I was editing that story.
Just editing it.
Just editing it.
I mean, I think I'd probably be in that category. I love the Pontarren Bridge. It's one of my favorite places in Rochester. Mm-hmm. I still don't like to walk up to the edge of it. No. And it's got like this high railing. It's very safe. It's very safe. I'm not like one of those people like, look over the edge. No. Anyway.
I like to stay on the ground. Unless I'm in an airplane, not jumping out of it. Like fully in it, strapped into my seat, going somewhere fun.
Somebody very wise once said, your feet are going to be on the ground. And your head is there to move you around. So stand. Okay. Don't skydive. That's actually not the next lyric.
Yeah, I was like, we're taking some creative license here.
Hello, Ryan Williamson, Director of Strategy and Operations for City.
Hi.
Hello, Roberto Lagares. Roberto is a multimedia reporter for City.
Hello.
Hello, Jake Walsh, Art Director for City. Hi, everybody.
Are you a skydiver is a really funny question, and an even funnier first question. Are you a skydiver?
I know.
It's like saying, are you an athlete or are you a mother? Are you a skydiver?
How many times do you have to do it to become a skydiver, not just have skydove?
Skydove.
Skydove?
Yeah, that's like past tense. Like, I skydove once.
Yeah.
Does that make you a...
I have skydiving.
Well, the instructor, you're going to talk to the instructor later, but that number's wild. I won't give it away.
I actually think if you're meeting somebody like in a date, a great first question is, are you a skydiver? It would probably tell you a lot about somebody.
Are you a skydiver?
If they unflinchingly say yes, you have to get up and exit the room.
Yeah, you got to
Yes,
make
I
some
am.
choices.
If they're like twice a week.
Yeah.
Twice a week.
I go crazy if I don't jump out of a plane.
So I'll ask Leah and the whole team to tell us just a little bit about some of the idea of why adrenaline, why now? Why this theme, Leah, Stacy?
This one's been on our radar. Did we come up with this last fall, last winter?
Yeah, it's kind of a new theme for us.
Yeah, because June always rotates. And last June was Photo City, right? That was a really fun one. And we're like, let's keep it fun. Summer's coming up. We knew that July and August themes were kind of locked in. We're like, what do we want to do that gives us some fun visual options, some stories that maybe we haven't told? But, of course, it's a flipped issue, so we also knew we were going to do some Jazz Fest content. And I think, Ryan, you came up with this double flip. Have you guys ever done this before?
Never done it before.
Ryan's been here a lot longer than I have. I think this is so fun, and we got to do some great jazz content too.
So jazz and adrenaline, and I mean, jazz is not so adrenaline filled. It's more smooth, right?
We're not listening to the right
You
jazz.
Depends on who you
I'm
ask.
listening to the wrong jazz.
Yeah.
Jimmy Highsmith is like, that's adrenaline.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Some of the most adrenaline-based music, I think, is jazz. Really get you going.
And Jazz Fest, of course, is coming up here in just a few days away. My gosh, it feels to me, this is going to be really trite, let's talk about the weather. But I actually think the weather's been so bad this spring that I'm almost amazed it's mid-June.
Except last week. We had a great week for Cocktail Revival. That weather was beautiful. And then it poured rain on Monday. Here we are again.
We can't get away from it.
Back
Can't.
to it.
So let me just ask all of you. I'm going to ask you, the extension of the "Are you a skydiver?" is, what's the dumbest thing that you've done that is like an adrenaline-seeking thing? Berto?
Not have my mic plugged in when I was doing an important shoot.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's probably the dumbest thing I've ever done.
That's not like an intentional thing, though.
Yeah,
You're
I
not-
don't know. I don't really take a lot of risks.
You're
I'll
not
be
like a
honest.
risk taker.
I don't know. I'm a calculated risk kind of guy. I have an older brother, and shout out Kenny, and you know he's like the risk, and then I'm like, I won't do that, and that's it.
See, you're young enough to be like in the generation that's posting these. What are the videos like? Where people are like jumping from pillar to pillar and post. Is that parkour?
Parkour.
Parkour. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you like
Well,
that stuff?
Michael Scott.
Like people like jumping from building to building. I don't like that. I don't want to watch that stuff.
I like to watch it,
No, why?
but I'm not gonna do it. I know my limitations.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm not doing. I can't do that. I turned 30. My knee popped. I don't know what to do. I can't. I'm not an active kind of guy like that. I mean, I'll go to the gym, stay healthy, but I'm not jumping from building to building. It's just
No.
not gonna happen.
Not yet.
Ryan, dumbest thing that you've done for adrenaline?
When I got married to my wife, my mother-in-law, shout out D. Reeves, got us skydiving tickets for our wedding, and we promptly got pregnant, like right away. So now my adrenaline is like dodging Legos on the floor. And the dumbest thing is probably like pushing shopping carts off of the back loading dock here
Yeah.
at WXXI.
Nice.
Have you seen that video?
No.
Oh, we'll show you on the break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, go to our Instagram, at Roc City Mag.
Okay,
Watch the video.
but you never did that skydive.
Never did it. Didn't have to. Luckily, I was a little like, thank God. I was a little nervous. I don't really want to jump out of a perfectly good plane.
Right.
But I would have, because if my wife wanted to.
Perfectly good
A
plan.
perfectly, yeah, as if that would ruin the plane forever. It's a perfectly good plane.
Perfectly good plane.
Why jump out of it? It's fine.
Perfect.
Let's
Not a
just land
perfectly good
safely.
person, or perfectly good shoes, or perfectly good spine. It's the plane. It's the plane we're worried about. I like that. Jake, what about you? Dumbest thing that you have done for adrenaline?
I ride a motorcycle every day, man. That's the dumbest thing I do.
Nobody who rides a motorcycle every day has been able to do it with a perfect safety record. Like everybody's got a motorcycle crashes like at least once, right?
That is untrue.
No?
Oh yeah, very untrue. But also, that is not to say that a motorcycle is safe. End of sentence. It's not. You invite risk in your life. You assess how much you're willing to take on, and you have fun. 2 wheels. My God, I love my motorcycle. For those who are wondering, it's a 750cc Honda Magna, and it has an Illuminati sticker on it.
Nice.
I just Googled motorcycle crashes. I don't know what I expected to find.
Oh my gosh!
Don't do that.
Put your laptop away.
Yeah, no.
Here, let me
No.
clarify a couple things right now too. I'm going to look down the barrel right here. I assume this is my camera. My mother is listening. I'm a very safe motorcycle rider. So was my father before me, and I'm not going to knock on any wood. I just really enjoy the feeling of 2 wheels.
Thrill.
I got pulled over last night actually, and that's the end of that story. I won't tell the rest of it.
Oh no. Now you need to tell the rest of it.
I was going 10 over entering a village. I didn't get a ticket.
Were you like on your way to get ice cream or?
I was just having a
Something
cruise,
wholesome.
and that was my privilege at work. I did not get a ticket.
They
that
did
day.
not give you a ticket?
Nope.
Just
I think
a
I
little
was
talking to?
I was also older than the cop and larger than the cop. I don't know.
Intimidating.
He's not looking at you like this guy could beat me up.
You don't know that. This man with kind eyes has it out for me, and doesn't want
This
to get a
very
ticket.
gentle, easily quipping soul could probably do a number on me if we threw hands.
If we were to throw hands,
Fisticuffs. There you go. Okay, you don't do anything stupid for thrills, right?
I'm kind of in Berto's camp on this one. I don't do things for thrills on purpose. Sometimes my adrenaline just goes up because I'm like constantly late and constantly taking on multiple things at once and having to meet deadlines. And so I just, that's what I do to feel alive.
Deadlines.
Yeah.
That's an adrenaline.
They'll do
junkie
it.
thing.
That'll
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. We're going to spend most of the hour on this half of City. So the next few minutes, what I want to do is just ask the crew here. When we talk about jazz, it's been, how many years has it been for the Jazz Festival here? What year is it? When are we in?
20
plus? I mean,
28. I looked at this so many times. We're at it.
we're in our 20s now?
We're in our late 20s, I think, with Jazz Fest.
Berto and I are in our 30s.
Yep.
22nd annual.
22nd annual, early 20s.
Okay. All
Okay.
right. I was aging it prematurely.
And, we always talk about, are we going to have a show on Jazz Fest? It's always fun when we do. And I love seeing the city come alive with various festivals. Jazz, of course, is one of them. But, Leah, what is the jazz story right now? I mean, is it at cruising altitude? Are there new things happening? What do you think?
I would say there was nothing we were like, whoa, but also we were like, oh, that's cool. And
Yeah.
I think this Jazz Fest seems very much to me, and you can see this in a story that Patrick wrote for the issue, and also the 12-hour piece that I did. When we were digging into like the smaller acts in whether it's the club venues or the free venues, you really can find some cool stuff, probably that you've never heard of. There is still a large number of international artists coming here, and I always find that those are the shows that I'm like, man, this is something I never would have like chosen to listen to, but now that I'm here, I'm going to go back to this, and it's really cool. So we highlighted a few of those, and without looking again, 10 countries represented this year through all the different acts. So you really, you can find something new, and I think that's my favorite part about Jazz Fest. And the fact that it's not jazz specific gives a little something for everyone, which I think is great.
I really like the 4, 8, or 12 hours at Jazz Fest that you did. Especially, this is going to kind of give away a little bias here. I want this town to become more of a lunch town again. It's not. I don't think Rochester's a great lunch town, but you have some ideas on where you grab lunch around Jazz Fest hangouts.
Yeah.
And it's inspired. It's like, I want to start with like a fun lunch out. And then start hitting the spots. I like that.
Well,
idea.
and I missed one, not on purpose, but Berto and I just went to an opening on was that Tuesday?
I don't know.
What day is it? What is
It's
time?
Thursday.
idea.
What is
Okay,
time?
welcome. Tuesday we went to Max of Eastman Place, rebranded as Max Bar and Bistro. It's right across from Java's, right across from Kodak Hall, and they are going to be open for lunch from Tuesday through Friday. So that's like another. We were in there and we're like, this is like a downtown lunch spot, because you're right. I have a running Google map of like downtown lunch spots because I get that question all the time, and then I want to go somewhere new.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's we need to be more of a lunch town.
And then the other thing I was going to ask you about your 12 hours, you're going to go see Chris Lane because he was on the Sexiest Man Alive issue.
I'm not going to that.
Okay, you're not going to do that.
No.
I've never seen this guy, so now I want to see if he's
You gotta-
actually in that. It's a good beard. It's like Jake.
I googled
Hey,
him.
thank
yeah.
you.
It's like Jake.
How kind. I almost shaved this off today. Imagine
Here you
that.
are. And here you are.
Wow.
Look at-
Well,
now it's
hey,
your
this
I
has
could
been
have
a
said
lot
it's
of
like
fun.
all of you guys, by the way. Every man at this table besides me has a beard. Rob Braden's got a beard. I'm the only beardless man here, but I went with Jake.
Ah,
I went
well,
with Jake.
Top beard.
I take it personally
Top
in a positive
Top
way.
beard.
Personally, thank you very much.
I mean, like, yeah, there's some shots. He's very attractive.
Right now, I'm looking at you, looking at your phone. I can't remember what he looks like.
Chris Lane, there you go. How's that? Yeah, he's a good-looking guy.
He's fine.
Yeah, okay.
He's like that meme where all the guys are leaning forward in the stadium, and you're like, it's the same photo.
The picture that you just
Guy.
flashed from this far away
Yeah.
seemed like an AI-generated man.
Yeah.
But no
Plug
knock
and
on
play.
Chris Lane.
Yeah.
No,
Sure. He's probably great. Not going to the show.
don't know who that is.
How you're not going to that show?
No.
Is that the only show?
I will actually be out
that's-
of town. That's why I'm not going. Yeah.
Is that the only show that was?
Sorry, is that the only show at the Easton Alex stage? I have fond
They're
memories
doing one
of
night. Yeah.
when
right?
that stage was at the end of Easton Alex. They used to do that a lot, and I remember I saw Gary Clark Jr. there, and it was
Yes.
awesome.
Yeah.
Wait, I was there
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Because we're like the same age. Yeah, that was a really fun. They would do at least one full weekend. So they're trying to bring it back. They did say that, and they're starting with this one night. You know that's a crowded like nightlife area still.
Mm-hmm.
And clearly the city's been dealing with some issues down there. So I think it's great for them to have this like test the waters proof of concept. Let's do this one show and see how it goes. And I will be at a bachelorette party, so that's why I'm not going.
Anybody else have Jazz Fest things on the list that you wanted to highlight? Berto? No?
No, I'm just gonna kind of go to as many things as possible
I'd love
and
to
just kind of send it.
outdoor mostly, yeah?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I want the vibe. Yeah.
What about
even
you,
if
Ryan?
it rains.
I would love to go to Thundercat, but I don't think I'm going to make it there. I just have obligations. But that's the act that jumped out to me. That was like, oh, cool. And I think Wynton Marsalis would be pretty awesome to just like check
Well,
that
yeah.
one off the box,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That'd be very cool.
Jake?
Los
Yeah.
Lonely Boys,
Yeah.
baby.
Bang.
Excellent band.
And an excellent piece, by the way.
An excellent piece by Patrick. Patrick reintroduced me to Los Lonely Boys. This is not a joke. The fiction writes itself. I went and bought a bolo tie the day after I read this piece. The day after this went to print, I went and bought a bolo tie, and it looks gorgeous.
Let me ask you something.
Yes.
Can you pull off a bolo tie?
Evan? Yes, I can.
Ooh.
I can pull off a bolo tie more than I can pull off a normal tie. End of sentence.
Okay.
Boom.
Some might say period. No, I've never I don't know. You know, I never doubted it. But when I started down the road of my bolo journey, I thought, how can I be a little bit alternative while also incorporating turquoise into my palette? Because I have sort of a red cast to my face, so I thought some contrast would be utterly sick. And there's a Western wear store out in Brockport that has a lovely selection of bolos that I think are, you know. I think it's. We don't have to talk about this, but the long answer, I just gave it to you. Short answer, yeah, I think so.
Do you think I can pull off a bolo?
1,000%. I would say it's not terribly difficult to pull off, even. I'll tell you what, they're easier to put on.
Nice.
Oh, that's a good joke.
Very true.
Were you going to jump in here?
No, I feel like this is the content that we keep behind the paywall.
Yeah, that's right. We should.
Yeah,
Talking
this is like
men's
the extra
This
content.
is the extra. Yeah.
The boys go bolo tie shopping.
Yeah.
This is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You
Boy, go
take
bolo.
Evan bolo tie shopping.
Let's do that.
That'd be a lot of fun.
all right, so that's we've covered the flip side of jazz here, and there's a lot more in the city edition. Let's get back to adrenaline, and I want to bring in a conversation I had. So Patrick Hosken could not be with us today on the show, not because he crashed his bicycle and is recovering, but because he's got other obligations. But Patrick, writes great stuff, wrote multiple pieces for this edition, usually does, and he did not know how to ride a bicycle until this issue. And I was surprised to see that piece. It's a lovely photo of him. He looks very, very joyful on this bicycle. Let's listen to our conversation with Patrick. We're going to go to the Patrick conversation. We're bringing in city arts reporter Patrick Hosken, who had the ultimate adrenaline ride. Riding a bicycle, learning to ride a bicycle for the first time. You poor man. Tell us the story here. And why you wanted to make this public.
Yeah, it's about 30 years after the fact, right? I had never learned how to do it, and which I kind of attribute to just we moved when I was little, and I think I just never picked it back up when we got to the new place. So then it became this thing of, okay, people would find out, and it's a little fun fact, whatever. In college, people go, "What do you mean you don't know how? I'll take you outside. I'll teach you in 10 minutes." And people would try, but it was always like not, it was undertaken with not the sincerity that
Like
one would
actually teaching
require.
somebody. I do it more like, fly.
Yeah, we're gonna hold you, and then when you feel comfortable, you can go. So, shockingly, that never worked.
It didn't take.
No.
Okay.
I was always really afraid that I was gonna fall. So, and that I would fail. I mean, honestly, that was part of it too. I mentioned that in the piece, but
Yeah.
it was like equal parts physical pain, but also psychological.
Sure. Yeah.
All that stuff. But yeah, I mean, I have a 3-year-old daughter. We got her a balance bike for Christmas, and I sort of in teaching her by not in trying to tell her what to do, I realized I could only say things that I thought were right, and I wasn't speaking from experience. So and also that really is sort of the meat of it. But I also should say, when I applied for this job, this was an example of a story that I kind of pitched in the room during my job interview. So I knew that at a certain point I was going to have to really do it. And so the adrenaline issue felt like the right time to do it.
Was there a lot of adrenaline?
There was actually.
Yeah.
I mean, hooking up with Reconnect Rochester, great organization. Jesse Piers was the educator who very graciously gave me like a one-on-one lesson essentially. And Jesse, I honestly can't thank him enough. His demeanor is perfect for bike education because he is very, I would say laid back, but also he's just very direct. He's like, this is the part where you get on the bike, basically. And here's like 2 things to keep in mind, but most of the learning is just you riding. So just ride. But that is really scary. So I definitely had some adrenaline coursing through my veins.
My only piece of teaching experience I've picked up over the years is have people who are learning to ride in grass.
Oh, yeah.
Pavement is a very scary thing to fall on.
I did bring this up. I said, should I, because we were in a parking lot, and I said, is it easier to do it in grass? Should I do it in grass? Should I, and I was wearing a helmet. So
Yeah.
I was like, let's wear the helmet for sure. But I started to think, do I need elbow pads? Like, what's going to happen here? Am I going to ruin my whole summer because I, get some injury?
It seemed plausible.
It did. It was on the table. But Jesse said, no, we were here in this parking lot. This is the parking lot where I teach a lot of people to ride.
He teaches better than I do, by the way. I'm glad you went with him. So
Professional bike educator.
yes, exactly.
And yeah, I mean, really the only thing he said was he took the pedals off and said, you're just going to focus on balance. And the way you do that is you just glide. You take both feet and you kind of propel yourself, and then you get a glide. And the faster you go, the more momentum, the safer you are on the bike. That's how you're going to stay on the bike is by going fast. So it sounds scary, but you just got to do it. So then after, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes of doing that, we reached a very, not quite fatal, but a stumbling block, which was that I ran over glass in the parking lot. Yeah. So, but Jesse, being the quick and nimble educator he was, he didn't live too far from where we were doing, so I ran him back. He grabbed another bike. We did it. It was great. And then it was like, okay, now let's keep doing this. And it really was like it was shocking to me how quickly things came together, because I tried to not go in with too much fear, but also not really a lot of certainty that like, oh, by the time we're done with this, like I'm going to be riding in traffic and all that stuff. Because as he explained to me, that's a very different thing. I mean, they Reconnect Rochester purposely
for sure.
offers two different courses there, which is, I mean, they offer many, but two of the sort of tracks are, learn to ride, and then separately it's riding in traffic, because those are very different things. So I was under no assumptions that I was going to leave there, ready to commute and all that stuff. I'd like to pursue that going forward, now that I've done this one lesson.
Well, how often are you riding now?
Well, so that's the thing. I haven't since I did this lesson.
Come on, man.
Yeah, it's a bummer. But I got to find a bike. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's a big, and they're out there. I mean, I got to check various different places to go.
As it turns out, and your 3-year-old is going to soon be a 5-6-year-old who wants you to ride.
That's true. We talked about that the other day. She was talking about, family rides and why don't you have a bike? And I was kind of like, yeah, that's a good question.
It's about time.
Let's get one.
So success here.
Success, but I will say
no injuries.
No injuries. I would say the mental how do I want to phrase this? The mental kind of achievement of getting up to that level of, okay, now not only am I gliding, but now we're feeling comfortable. So now I'm going to put my feet on the pedals. I'm actually going to pedal, and I'm going to sustain myself. And navigating was the tricky part. I bailed a couple of times because I was like, okay, I'm doing it, but now I don't know what I'm supposed to do next. That's where the thinking kind of undid me. I was trying not to think throughout the whole lesson. And then by the end, when I was putting on more layers to this, now we're steering. Now I got to figure out what's the braking like, and like how can I ease into that? Then I started actually kind of tripping up, because it was like I was just focused on the balance and the
Too much
pedaling.
at once.
Too much at once.
I mean, he started you off with, what was it? Bill Murray in that What About Bob scene where he's saying, I'm sailing, and they've got him tied to the mast. And, I'm sailing. I mean, that's kind of what you were doing at the first, but now you're actually riding.
Yeah. And I think and it was also like, I think the context is important too. Like I was being photographed. I was being shot with
Which, by the
video.
way, that is like the best part of this, is like you are willing to not only write about this,
yeah,
you are allowing viewable evidence to the public of your effort to learn to ride a bicycle.
That's true. I just kind of felt like, why not go all the way? Like why? And also like, because people,
that's amazing.
I'm opening this door in hopes that like I can connect with other people who learn to ride as adults, kind of share that experience. And also Tracy Austin is another person, a bike educator who I spoke to for the piece, because she wasn't directly involved in teaching me, but I wanted to get another sort of perspective on that. And she said these awesome things that were totally resonant with me, which were like just the feedback that she hears from folks when they feel like they have unlocked that, that ability. I didn't know I could do it, and here I am doing it. and kind of she gave a lot of examples of people, and a lot of it can be tied into their upbringing, certain like religious traditions in some ways. Like there's all these like psychological, but also like environmental, cultural reasons that milestone becomes so much more potent. And for me, I'm like, I don't necessarily have any of that apart from just being like, cool, now I actually know that like it's not too late. It's never too late to learn anything. Who knows? Maybe I'll like learn how to play the saxophone or something. Like it definitely gives me that.
Well, what is next?
Oh, well, next I'd like to keep riding. And I'd really like to keep riding and feel comfortable and not just like, here we are and it was a fun thing I did once and then all my skills atrophied. Like I really do want to capitalize on the momentum. But now I also know, like, I don't know, I can do a lot of other things. Somebody else, another writer in the issue, went skydiving, not for the first time, by the way. But I was just like, wow, that's really cool. I'm not there. I wouldn't do that, but this is my version of that.
Yeah. Skydiving. Thank you for telling the story, by the way.
Yeah, thanks for asking me to.
Really fun. That's Patrick Hosken, our WXXI and city colleague. Just such a lovely man and great effort. By the way, just willing to put himself out there. Never too late to learn something very cool. What are you going to learn, Ryan? Now that Patrick has inspired us all, we can learn anything.
Saxophone duet sounds great. Him and I can both do saxophone.
100%.
Yeah.
Nice. Totally.
Yeah. You're never going to learn it. What about you, Berto?
I have a book that I bought about a year or two ago, and it's like how to draw. And I have never opened up the book since I bought it, but it's there, and I think maybe now I will try to do that.
Okay, there you
That's
go.
it.
Jake?
Trying to learn Spanish.
Oh,
Yeah.
good one.
It's going, I would say, medium well. I'm being very
Medium well.
It's going medium well.
Medium
Yeah.
well.
It's being diligent. I'm being diligent about it, rather. I'm also terrible on the spot, so please don't ask me to say anything.
I'm not going to
Same.
ask you to say anything, but I think language is a really cool thing to pursue later in life. It's easier as kids. We just know that's how our brains work. It's
Later
interesting.
in life.
I mean, outside of childhood. It is easier to start learning new languages as a
know.
child
A
because
lot
the way our
older
brains.
than that cop.
Yeah, that cop would have a better chance of learning a new language than you.
Still got that
Very young.
neuroplasticity going on, not me.
You're not getting off the hook.
I don't have as many bends in the knees,
There you
as it
go.
were.
Leah, anything new that you want to tackle?
I don't know if it's necessarily new, but I would like to have more time to devote to like making my cooking skills ever better. Like I
Yeah.
like to try a new, harder thing every time.
Love it.
Just that.
Notice the lack of adrenaline in all of our choices. Nobody's like trying to
Listen,
jump off of anything.
Nah, but when something's burning on the stove, like there's a little adrenaline.
There's some adrenaline there.
There's some
Sure.
adrenaline.
After we take our only break, we're going to get really into adrenaline. We're gonna jump into that skydiving essay, and we're going to learn what it feels like. For those who have never done it, we're going to talk to people who do this. Well, someone who does it almost every day for a part of the year. So that's coming up next on Connections.
The New York Public News Network is a partnership of newsrooms across the state. Together, the network offers you deeper and more relevant news coverage with a broad range of diverse voices and reporters who are following the stories that affect you.
I'm Jung-Yoon Han for the New York Public News Network.
Brian Sharp.
Gino Finale.
I'm Beth Adams.
Evan Dawson, WXXI News.
Jeremy Mole.
I'm Mona Segatola-Salmi.
Alex Crichton, WXXI News.
Listen for coverage from the New York Public News Network here on WXXI News.
This is Connections. I'm Evan Dawson. We're going to talk skydiving here. Charlie writes to say, Evan, I have to contribute today. I would not call myself an adrenaline junkie, but I'm close. I play in 2 bands in town, and I live for that rush moment during the first song when the pulse is up and the adrenaline courses through my veins, and I channel it into performance. I ski 50 to 60 days a year, and I mountain bike daily, and there are a few gnarly spots in the woods where if I make a mistake, it could not end well, and they could make me into a... Boy, Charlie, I can't read all of this stuff on the air here. I once cracked my helmet, he says, and 2, when I caught a stump and it shot me upside down while still carrying my bike. I still think about that. Okay, so there's some adrenaline there. He also loved the REM reference earlier this hour. That's just little gifts for the listeners. Little song lyrics.
That's what it's all about.
So nice of you.
New bands,
Easter eggs.
very current, very
Yeah.
current.
Oh, yeah.
So, Charlie, let me know if you are a skydiver. I'm going to bring in Ten Gardner and Robin Basalla. Ten is a contributor to City Magazine who wrote a piece on skydiving in this issue, and Robin Basalla is the skydiving instructor. First of all, Ten, welcome. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. And Robin, hello. Thanks for being with us. Are you there, Robin? Boy, oh boy. No? Don't have Robin? Hi, guys. Do we have Robin? All right. Hey, Robin, are you there? No. All right. 10. Let's start with 10. 10, on your first experience, I'm just going to read a little bit from your piece here. You write, you know that butterfly feeling you get in your stomach on a roller coaster? Imagine that feeling throughout your entire body and for so long that it feels endless, like a kaleidoscope of butterflies calling indefinitely inside your body. That's what skydiving feels like. That sounds pretty wild. Not everybody wants... Look at Leah's face. You don't even want that, do you, Leah Stacy?
No, but I love that 10 was willing to do this twice.
Do it twice. So tell us a little bit more about maybe your nerves, your experience there, 10.
Yeah, I mean, I've been wanting to do it again, but I couldn't rationalize spending money on it. And so this issue came out with the theme of adrenaline, and I was like, I know exactly what I want to do. But I've always been the kind of person who likes to push myself. And for my 25th birthday, I just decided I wanted to do this, and I was fascinated by the people who do it every day, and I wanted to go back.
You write about what habitual skydivers seek. Let me start by asking you this, 10. Are you going to become one of them?
I don't know. I don't know about all that. I think I originally thought it was going to be a one and done for me, and maybe it'll be a two and done. But it's a lot on the body and the brain. It's like, I mean, I know that for some of the people they described it as meditation. I did not experience that personally. I think that comes with practice, but I respect it.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I mean, if you are experienced, and we're going to talk to Robin in a second about this, if you're experienced doing this, then it becomes, rote is the wrong word, but it is less of the, oh my gosh, I hope I survive thrill. And then it is a different kind of a feeling. I mean, so, and here's a little bit more of what 10 says about habitual skydivers. What habitual skydivers seek isn't just adrenaline, it's clarity. They have an extraordinary connection to life and death, tranquility facing mortality with every jump. Free falling necessitates a presence of mind that mutes all worldly thoughts, rivaled only by meditation. For those weighed down by the everyday demands of life, skydiving could offer a shift in perspective. This is a really well-written piece. It's really smart. It's really interesting. And I think we've got Robin Basalla on with us now. Hey, Robin, let's try it again. Are you there?
Yep, I'm here. Hello.
Hey, it's great to have you. You have jumped more than 1,500 times. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. I did my first skydive just over 10 years ago now.
And you're jumping nearly every day from May to October.
Yep, I jumped just this morning, actually.
Incredible.
This morning, how'd it go?
Oh, it was great. It's beautiful today.
So can you tell us a little bit more about what 10 is getting at in the piece when 10 writes about this idea that it's not necessarily about adrenaline at a certain point, it's about clarity. There's almost something meditative about it. Does that describe you, Robin?
Yeah, I think the experience of skydiving is honestly very different for everybody. And for me and a lot of the people that choose to get licensed as skydivers, we had that first jump, and yeah, it was really scary. I was nervous on my first skydive, but when that parachute opened, I just felt just absolute peace, and I felt a lot more calm than I do in a lot of normal day-to-day situations, which honestly probably sounds pretty crazy, but like I said, everybody's different, and just that feeling of calm and peace that I felt when the parachute opened, that really drove me to come back and keep learning more and more, and I just loved it so much.
Well, I mean, when you do this more than 1,000 times, I'm sure everybody who knows you who doesn't skydive has asked you, has anything ever gone wrong? I mean, it's a fair question. Has anything ever really gone wrong on a jump?
Sometimes things go wrong, but, you're trained to deal with any of the problems that happen. So, for example, like, hey, the parachute might open and your lines might be twisted up. And that's a pretty common thing to happen, and you kind of know how to deal with it, and you deal with it. I think a lot of it comes into the training and the preparation that we do on the ground. So when those things do happen, you're able to react and respond.
I do recall years ago watching that Seinfeld bit on skydiving in which he points out you're wearing a helmet, and yet if the parachute doesn't deploy, the helmet is going to be wearing you for protection. that there isn't a whole lot that the helmet is going to do if that parachute doesn't open. Why are we wearing helmets on skydiving, Robin?
Well, the helmet is there to hold my camera. It's also nice, the visor. And also helmets have helped people before in mid-air collisions and things like that.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Seinfeld thinks he's so clever.
Mostly for the camera.
Okay. 10, when's your next go at this?
Oh, God. I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, watching the videos back from jumping with Robin, my body positioning was so incorrect that we were just spinning endlessly. It looked ridiculous.
Oh, I don't know about ridiculous. What did you think, Robin?
I think it was a great skydive. It was a lot of fun. 10 deployed the parachute for us also.
I did.
Okay.
Pull the lever, Kronk.
Yeah, well done, 10.
Nice.
And before I let both of you go here, 10, one more for you here. You're writing about this to kind of give people the experience because most people have never done this or would never do this. Are you more on the other side of this experience thinking, even for the people who think they never would, it might actually be good for you, that there might be something good about it for you mentally?
Yeah, I definitely think so. Because I think when a lot of people, even myself, when you think about skydiving, it feels like this almost like violent, aggressive act. But then when you talk to the people who do it all the time, and like Robin said, it's a feeling of peace. You can't think about anything else other than the present moment. You have to think about what you need to do, what you're physically doing, where you're going, where you're going to land. Like, there's no space for anxiety. It's like a completely mindful experience. And it's definitely different than other types of mindful exercises, but I think it can be useful for some people.
Robin, what is the oldest age of a skydiver you've gone with?
We've had people, a man here that has come back, it was on his 99th birthday and then his 100th birthday, and hopefully he comes back again this year.
Awesome.
That's amazing.
So cool.
That's really awesome. So it's for people who are fit enough and daring enough to do it, Robin?
Oh, absolutely. I think that anybody that's interested in trying it, even if it seems like overwhelmingly scary, I'm here to help you through that experience, and I think it's worth trying. For sure.
Robin, thank you on a day that you've already had a jump. Thank you for making time for us, probably the least thrilling thing in your day. And we really appreciate you coming on here and telling the story, Robin.
Yeah, of course.
Robin Basalla is a skydiving instructor. 10 Gardner, contributor to City. Great stuff. Thank you for coming on with us.
Thank you.
Really good stuff. You got such a good team of people and contributors and this whole family there, Leah.
It's so great. Yeah,
it's good stuff.
10 is a fairly recent addition, and they've just been crushing.
Yeah. This is not an easy piece, but I love it. I'm glad I didn't have to edit it. I'm with you there. We're going to turn to a very different kind of subject here, and maybe a little less of that visceral thrill. The biggest thrill that for me would be if someone made the Eiffel Tower out of toothpicks, and I had a toddler jump over a velvet rope and knock it down. That would be like an adrenaline surge and a panic. And I don't know that, that's a perfect analog, although I have a friend who had a toddler who was at the Strong Museum of Play years ago. And they had one of those Rube Goldberg devices that takes all day to set up. And they planned this 2 o'clock deployment of it. And they're there at 11 o'clock checking it out and just kind of looking at it. And like, oh, we're not doing it until 2. And then the kid jumps the line and goes in and just starts the whole thing.
No.
And that Rube Goldberg machine got an audience of about 3 people.
Oh, no.
And once it starts, you just have to watch it. It's like there's nothing you can do, right? Like the ball's going down here, now it's here, now it's up here, now it's there. It's knocking things down. It's like, well, hope you enjoy that. And that toddler, there's a sign with his face on it, like, just remove on sight, like if he ever comes back here. He's not a toddler anymore. But I could see him blowing up the Toothpicks. I think Leah knows who this is, so I think you could see this.
I think now that you're saying it and looking at me like this, I do know who it is.
And he could definitely blow up a great toothpick display. That would be an adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
We are talking about Stan Munro, the great Stan Munro, who is back with us on the line now. And
he's not the toddler.
He's not the toddler. Well, if you've seen his work on TV. Come on, Stan. If I've seen your work on television, that's an apt description. How are you, sir?
I am 55 years old.
Nice.
The biggest toddler you've probably had on your show.
It's been a number of years since I had a chance to talk to Stan. Stan, in a different lifetime, was doing crazy things in the morning on 13, what was WOKR, I think, back at the time.
Yeah.
What was the wildest thing you did? I think you showed up in the bathtub of one of the morning anchors during a live shot when she did not know you'd be in her bathroom. Is that correct?
See, I thought that was Kathy Chris's bathtub. But I really think it was the elephant enema that really got people thinking, maybe I should try another channel this morning.
The elephant enema. I don't know if that's a story that you can share.
No, I don't think it is. I think you got it all in those two words.
I think that's a ska band, right?
Oh my gosh.
So, Stan, for people who don't know this part of your life with Toothpicks, you want to tell us a little bit about what you do?
Toothpick World is a collection of over 200 buildings.
Oh, no, we lost this connection a little bit.
1 to 164 scale. And that's the idea. So even though the Empire State Building is 10 feet tall, the tallest building in the world, the Burj Khalifa, is almost twice that size. So this gives you an idea instead of just looking at your phone. I mean, besides looking at your phone and seeing it in person, this is all you got to see the world's architecture. But people come out to Eastview Mall and they look at all the windows. The windows change seasonally. And I put different, right now I have in the front window Mont Saint Michael off the coast of Normandy, France, and a 50-foot long Golden Gate Bridge right next to it. So they were all changing all the time, and it just gives you a chance to see architecture from all over.
Toothpick World, amazing. I'm looking at the picture from City here by Berto. This is, I mean, this photograph kind of gives you the scale that Stan's talking about here. Were you amazed seeing this stuff?
Absolutely. I like to go in as blind as I can, but still, obviously informed, so I know what I'm gonna get. But when I walked in, I was blown away at I thought this was just one display in the window, and then that was it. And I was like, all right, we'll grab some photos. And then we walked in, and it was just these massive skyscrapers, all the iconic places across the world, and it was just. I mean, it blew me away. It took me a while to even pull my camera out because I was just taking it all in.
It's awesome stuff. He's standing next to the Eiffel Tower.
The idea that you like of blowing something up, setting on something on fire. So every time I rent out to a museum, like we were at the Museum of Science and Industry down in Tampa, Florida, they got a free Star Destroyer to blow up. So, I mean, I understand that desire of just destruction.
Yeah.
But on the other end of that, there is the same desire for this building these just unique architectural marvels from around the world.
How long does it take you to do? Well, I mean, they're all different, I know, Stan, but is there an average amount of time that one of these will take you?
It's about a week for a skyscraper. Those are the easiest. Just because something's bigger doesn't mean it's more difficult.
Yeah, our connection's in and out with you, Stan. I apologize. I think I looked at Jake the same way. When he said a week, I thought he was going to be a month or a year, right?
Much longer, yeah.
A week?
Yeah. I try to think of all the things I
if you want
accomplished in a
to add
week.
the 20 years it took me to figure out how to do it in a week.
Okay, fair.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
totally.
every time you learn how to do something, it goes into your little bag of tricks, and then you don't have to learn how to do it all over again.
It's
So
really remarkable. Yeah. Stan, what have you not built that you want to build?
It kind of drives you crazy.
So, Stan, what have you not built that you want to build yet?
Oh, my gosh. Where do every time I build something else,
Yeah, we're losing you,
I
Stan.
mean, there's so much stuff.
Here, let's do this here. We have to let Stan go because Stan understands if I put him on bad radio because of connection, he would never. That's not good for anybody. But you've got to pick up City and see some of the stuff. You've never seen it. It is. I mean, I hate to be cliche. I mean, it's just amazing. It is amazing that anybody can do this. And Stan is such a talented guy. He's got a big heart. The story of how this all came together is awesome. It's there in City. And for sure, I mean, maybe Jake, if I had to give you a kit to do the Eiffel Tower, and I gave you 5 years, do you think you could do it?
Oh, totally. I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
I really doubt that.
Really? You
Yeah.
have no faith in me? Man,
No.
We are hot and cold this episode because you have been showering me with praise and saying, you know what, Jake? I don't believe in you. 5 years?
5 years is a long time.
And you're, but wait, hold on.
5 years.
You're making the kit? Do you know what you're doing?
No.
Okay, then I can't do it.
Yeah, that's right. You're getting a bad kid out of this thing.
Well, we'll struggle through it together. Failure is progress.
I want to thank Stan for coming on. Sorry about the connection there, Stan, but it's great to have you on. And before we go here, there's a lot more in this issue we didn't even get to. Berto's got, what's your photo essay this time, Berto? It's on the Roc City Roller. That's right.
Yes, Roc City Roller Derby. Yeah, that was wild. That was incredible. I still need to make it out to one of the events, but this was a practice just to get introduced to it, and it was so much fun. My heart was literally racing just observing it. So yeah.
I think we've got some of Berto's work on the YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube on the WXXN's YouTube page, I got to say that is a great cover. That is a great. Who's responsible for this one? Is that you, Ryan?
Yeah, I did it, but it's all Berto. It's his great shot, but I thought it'd be
cover.
fun to kind of tilt it on its side and give you that uneasy feeling of falling out of an airplane.
It really is.
There you go.
That's awesome. Is it pretty vicious?
I would say not as vicious as I think the cliche and everyone imagines, but it is physical. Just in the practice, 2 people got kind of knocked in the face. But it's wild because they just skate off, grab a first aid kit real quick, and then they're just back in. Yeah. It's wild. I can't even skate, so that alone was pretty wild.
Oh, that sounds like another story.
Learn to skate.
Man, that was a terrible thing to say out loud. Holy God. There's my new dumbest thing I've ever done.
Yeah. So you can't roller skate, can't ice skate?
No, I can't.
What would you say you can do, Berto?
I can press a button.
He's okay with the camera.
Yeah.
No, he knows his limitations, and he's aging. That's what he said earlier.
It's that bum knee.
It's true. It is that knee.
It's that bum knee.
It's that knee.
Now, this looks like a lot of fun. Also, puns. It's fun to have puns here.
Yes.
They're very big on puns in roller derby.
Yes. It was. We gave Ryan a name, a derby name. What was it again?
The Broadsheet Bruiser.
Boom. There it is.
Wow.
Yeah, the Broadsheet Bruiser.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was great, and we kind of went with a more Y2K style for the color shots, and then the black and white is to kind of pay homage to the humble beginnings of roller derby, which was all the way back in 1930, I think is what it was. 1935 is the original roller derby. Some people think it was just the 80s, but that's not true. And it actually used to be a real race. And I think the first person that won died a week later. There's a lot to it.
I really want to fact check this.
Yeah, there's a
This
lot.
sounds like more paywall content to me.
Yeah, there's a lot. This was the most in-depth research I had to do for one of the photo essays because there's just so much here. So, but it's great. The sport is evolving. It's very inclusive and it is action-packed. And once you understand what's going on, which doesn't take long, it's very entertaining.
Now, aside from the fact that there's elbows being thrown, are they generally pretty congenial with each other?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I'd say so. Because, it's bred from the love of the sport. It is all, it's funded and run by the players. The players are members. They are essentially board members. They're, running different, factions of the organization. And it is, so the camaraderie is there. But, it's still competitive and yeah, they show that.
Yeah, unlike skydiving, where the helmet is window dressing. You need a helmet. You need pads here.
Yeah.
You definitely need pads here.
Yep.
It's great work there. A lot of fun. Again, great cover. Ryan, what if we missed this hour that we didn't hit? What are you excited about this month here? He's on the spot.
Ice cream?
Ice cream, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ice cream.
I know. I want to go to that truck. It looks so good.
What's the truck, by the way? Pete Wayner wrote a piece on it. What's
Sprinkle Starship. Could you think of a better name?
So cool.
So great. And just the vibe of the girl who started these. She has 2 trucks now. Started it right out of high school instead of going to college. Her whole vibe comes across in the story as somebody you want to have a chat with.
She looks like she's having the most fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And who wouldn't? What a gig.
Mm-hmm.
So
Slinging ice cream.
It's also just a very sweet story about her and her dad working together on it.
Mm.
It's really cute.
So there it is. It's the double cover issue. We talked jazz. We talked a lot about adrenaline, and you missed the June City Social. In July, where are you going?
Everybody missed it.
Everybody missed it.
I know. So,
Yeah.
so is there something going on in July that we can?
No, there will be one in August.
Okay, August
Yeah.
is the next. I just want to make sure we talk
July,
about the next
we take a little pass because people are very busy with the summer. We have to go away for our annual conference. And August will be fun because it's our annual Rock 10 issue, which may have a couple surprises up its sleeve this year.
Okay.
So stay tuned for those deets.
We will have them for you here. It's always fun to visit with the team from City. Great work as always. Thank you to the whole team. Thanks to Patrick Hosken, who couldn't be live on the program today. He might be out riding a bicycle somewhere. If you just see a guy with the biggest smile on his face in town and wearing a very safe helmet, you see Patrick Hosken on a bicycle. He's doing great. Thank you, Patrick. Thanks to Ten and Robin joining us. Thanks to Stan Munro and the whole team from City. Leah, Stacy, the editor. Great having you. Thank you for being here.
Great to be here.
Ryan Williamson, Director of Strategy and Operations. Great having you. Thank you very
My
much.
pleasure.
Jake Walsh, Art Director for City Magazine. Throwing hands with the police.
Oh my God.
Not actually throwing hands with your mother's listening. I just wanted to throw that in for her.
Hello,
You're a good
Mom.
kid. You're
Yeah.
good. You're a
I'm
good
a good
kid.
kid. I'm a good 31-year-old kid.
You're a good kid. Roberto Lagares, who is a multimedia reporter for City. Thank you for being here.
Always fun.
All right, everyone. More connections coming up in just a moment.
This program is a production of WXXI Public Radio. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of this station, its staff, management, or underwriters. The broadcast is meant for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or use in another medium without expressed written consent of WXXI is strictly prohibited. Connections with Evan Dawson is available as a podcast. Just click on the Connections link at WXXInews.org.
Support for your public radio station comes from our members and from Bob Johnson Auto Group, proud supporter of Connections with Evan Dawson. Believing an informed public makes for a stronger community. BobJohnsonAutoGroup.com.